Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Sorry, I should say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. We've got colleagues from different time zones on the call today. So as I say, I hope you're all well. Thanks for joining today's session. My name is Kishore Roy. I am a regional exams manager for the British Council, covering Southeast Asia, and I'm based in Manila. And again, I'm delighted to be with you today. This session that we have prepared for you, that we're going to be looking at a tool that can help you in a variety of different ways. It can help you develop your people more effectively. It can help you make more effective evidence-based decisions. And ultimately, it can help you save your time and effort when it comes to assessing the readiness of your people. So we'll be introducing this new mobile phone app that has been developed by the British Council and its partners, named EnglishScore. And we'll also be touching on some of our other teaching and learning offers that the British Council can provide. In terms of the ground rules for today, thank you. So just to let you know, today's session is being recorded. Your continued attendance implies that you're okay with that and you consent to that. Today's session is also designed to be interactive as well, so we really encourage your questions and your comments and your feedback. There'll be some elements that you can respond to in the chat, but if you have any specific questions, please put them into the Q&A box, and we will respond to the questions that you put into the Q&A box. Some may be answered there, some we will address at the end of the session in the Q&A. We value your feedback. It's really, really important to us. So please do complete the survey that we give you at the end. And through that, you'll be able to access the content from today's session, should you be interested. To get the session up and running, if we could start, please, by if you could type your name into the chat box at the bottom. Give us your name, your job title, and who you work for, just to introduce all of you to each other. So please find the chat box at the bottom of your screen and start sharing those details. So Nani, you were first, well done. Thanks, Charlie. Hi, Sue. Good to see you on the call. Great. And Tracy. Great. Tia, hi, good to see you here. Great, everyone. Please do continue putting your intros into the chat box. We're going to start introducing our speakers. So the first speaker we have, just to provide a bit of context for us for today's session, we have Colm Downs. Colm is currently our Director for English Education and Society in Indonesia. He's lived and worked in Indonesia for a good number of years, so he's got a really good insight into the state of play here. So over to Colm really for a context setting introduction to today's session. Thanks, Colm.
Thank you very much, Kishore. I hope you can see me. I think I'm about to appear on the screen in a moment. Just a reminder that if you're using the chat box, please select all panelists and attendees. If you select all panelists and attendees, then everybody will be able to see your comments in the chat box. So, okay, there I am. I have appeared on the screen. I can see myself. I hope you can see me. Can I just check that you can see me and maybe in the chat? Can you let me know? All right, you can see me. All right, perfect. I'm going to get started. So, Selamat Sore, Semoga. My name is Colm Downs. I'm in Jakarta. I'm in Kemang, but I'm working from home like many of you in Indonesia and around the world. We're all coping with the pandemic. So I hope, first of all, that you're all safe and well and that your families are safe and well. Today, we're very excited because we're here to talk about a new English language assessment tool. Many of you may be familiar with IELTS or TOEFL or other examination tools, but maybe today will be the first time that you will get to hear about EnglishScore. Now, our experts who've developed and are working on EnglishScore are going to tell you all about EnglishScore in a moment. But before they do, I just wanted to add a few words about the importance of assessment and the key role that assessment plays in English language teaching and learning. Obviously, if you are a student, and maybe some of you are students with us today, you need to know what your level of English is. You need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Assessment is a key part of learning for formative purposes, both so students, yourselves, so your parents or your teachers know what your level of English is across the skills. So how good is your reading or your writing? Where do you need to focus your efforts in order to improve? I think also it's a very useful tool as well as for students. It's a useful tool for teachers, maybe for teachers to know their own level of English, but also obviously for you to know the level of English of all of your students and give them that feedback. And maybe if you're a school manager or you're running a university or an institution, this kind of data will be very useful for you, maybe to use for admissions purposes in whether to accept candidates onto your courses, or if you're an employer, you might use EnglishScore as a tool for selecting candidates for a job. So there are many different ways in which a good English language test can be used. And I think it's one of the other key strengths for me about this tool is that it is linked to the Common European Reference of Languages, the CEFR. So it will give you a score which is internationally recognized by higher education institutions, by companies around the world. These scores, B1, B2, C1, C2, are quickly becoming the most globally recognized kind of framework for measuring your English proficiency. In addition to that, as you'll hear a little bit later from our experts, this test will give you an indication of your IELTS score. So it's not an IELTS test, but it does give you an indication of your IELTS score. So if you're thinking about taking an IELTS test, this might be a test to do first to give you an idea of where you are and how much more learning you need to do in order to raise your level of English before you take that test. So obviously, as well as using this test in order to inform what learning needs to take place, it is also an exciting tool that can be used to provide you with a certificate, evidence of your level of English. So you could then take that certificate to a university or to an employer and be able to show them that you have evidence of your level of English. So there's many different usage of this new exciting test. And also, as our expert in a minute is going to tell you, you can do this test quite easily on your phone or on your computer and get the results pretty quickly. So it's already been used and downloaded a number of times in Indonesia. You'll hear more about some of the data that we've got from that during our presentation. So I'm tremendously excited about the multiple applications and usage of EnglishScore. I think it's going to transform English teaching potentially in Indonesia and around the world. So I'm delighted that I'm here for this webinar, but I'm going to hand over now to Will Saville. So Will Saville is the business development lead for EnglishScore. So he manages the relationships with educational institutions and corporate organizations. And he's going to tell you in a lot more detail about EnglishScore, how it works and how you can use it. So Will, I'm going to hand over to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Colm. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here today. I'm based in the UK, and like many of you, I'm also working from home. I'm going to be telling you about EnglishScore today and how we are helping education institutions around the world and how you can start using EnglishScore. So over 2 billion people are learning English as a common language of the world, and companies offering some of the best paid jobs now require their employees to communicate effectively in English. And fluency in English can increase wages by 40% for men and 55% for women, respectively. So it's a hugely important skill to have. As Cole mentioned, the British Council offers a range of English language assessments. Many of you will be familiar with IELTS, the exam for migration and study purposes, which takes around 2 hours and 45 minutes to take. There's also ACTIS, which is a comprehensive assessment of 4 skills, taking around 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then there's also EnglishScore, which is the mobile test and certificate, and can be sat in around 30 minutes. EnglishScore is a global test and certificate of English for employability, and is accessible to anyone with a smartphone. So you can go and download it for free on the Google Play and App Store, and it gives you a reliable English score in 30 minutes. It's also aligned to the International Standard of English, the Common European Framework of Reference. Education institutions are using EnglishScore in 3 main ways. Number 1, admissions and placement, to inform admissions decisions or improve placement into appropriate English courses. For ongoing evaluation purposes, to track student progress by using EnglishScore to measure improvement of English over time, and also for certification purposes, to provide a certificate that is recognised and respected by over 800 employers globally. So let's look at EnglishScore in a bit more detail. So EnglishScore is a simple and trusted test. Again, it can be sat within 30 minutes, and it assesses reading, listening, grammar, and vocabulary. And in the picture, you can see some examples of the questions that are asked in the app. There's a rotating item bank of questions, which ensures users can't anticipate the answers. There's also a front-facing camera, which is used to check for cheating. Again, in the picture, you can see the image being taken within the app. And every certificate has a unique identification number, which can be securely verified on our online portal. As Cole mentioned, EnglishScore is aligned to the Common European Framework of Reference, which is an international framework of English language ability. On the left-hand side, you have the CFR level from C1 to A2. We also provide an English score from 0 to 600, which provides much more granular breakdown of the test taker's ability in each level and equating to their language ability. At the top end, C1, or an advanced level of English, is mainly used for those wishing to migrate or study in English-speaking medium. At the bottom end, A2 or elementary, are those who are just starting out on their English language journey. Most employers are looking for the B1 and B2 level of English. So these are really important for test takers in Indonesia, and this allows them to be able to work and communicate effectively to perform their job roles. So who is taking EnglishScore? On the screen is Indonesia data of the test takers from the last 3 months. In the pie chart, you can see the motivation of why test takers are using EnglishScore. And the majority of test takers in Indonesia are using EnglishScore for study purposes, around 39%. So those who wish to use it to progress in education. Another sizable majority are using it for job purposes at 27%. So they're using it to be able to enhance their employability skills and get better paid jobs. On the right-hand side, you can start to see the levels of people who sit the test in Indonesia. You can see a few are getting the advanced level, but the majority of people are at the middle levels, and the highlighted columns are the B1, B2 level, which students are trying to achieve for employment purposes. There's also a notable amount of students achieving pre-beginner and elementary status as they wish to progress through their English language and improve their skills to get to the B1 and B2 level. Every organisation that signs up to EnglishScore gets access to an organisation dashboard. And this basically has all of the institution's results listed in one place. I'm just going to give a very short demo of the dashboard. So when you sign up to the organisation dashboard, you are given a contact detail and login for your dashboard, and you can have multiple dashboard administrators for your institution. When you log on, you are shown this image, which you're able to share with the test takers, informing them how to download the test. Every organisation is given a unique connect code, which when entered before sitting the test, the results will automatically upload to your institution's dashboard. You're able to download this image so you can share it easily with candidates. In your dashboard, you have your code, which you can easily copy. You have your contact details and login details. And you can also have the ability to start testing again, which brings up this image so it's always available. In the results summary section, you have everyone who has ever sat the test at your institution, and it breaks it down by CFR level and also EnglishScore level, so you can easily see who has achieved what. You can easily search the dashboard by level or across levels to see who has achieved the scores that you desire. There is also the option to search by date range. You enter a start date and an end date, and anyone who has sat the test within that time period will be listed. You can also easily search the dashboard with the candidate's name or email address to find them quite easily. Every test taker's results includes a CFR level, an EnglishScore level, and also the skills broken down by grammar, vocab, listening, and reading. You also have the date the test was taken. Images are also shown of the candidate, so you can begin to verify that the test taker is who they say they are. All of this data is easily downloadable to a CSV file, so you can upload it into your own platforms and begin to report and slice the data as you desire. So, how can EnglishScore help your organisation? And before we go into this section, I've got a quick poll to ask you. So in a moment, there'll be a question on your screen and you can pick more than one answer. And basically, we would like to know how you are currently using English assessment. Are you using it for admissions and placement, for certification purposes, for ongoing evaluation, or you're not currently using anything? So feel free to put your results in the poll. Again, you can click more than one result, and in a moment, we will see the answers to the poll. So I'll just give you a few more moments just to click your results, and then the poll will appear on the screen. That's great. If you just finish off now, the poll will appear. Fantastic. So really interesting results there. A lot of you are using English assessment for admissions and placement, with a number of you also using English assessment for certification purposes. So wow, and also there's 10% not currently using anything. So hopefully this presentation will give you some inspiration of how you can implement English assessment and EnglishScore within your organization. Thank you for completing the poll. So as I said before, EnglishScore is really easy to use. If you want to use it for admissions and placement purposes, all you have to do is invite the candidate to apply. They take the test through the mobile phone, and when they enter the connect code prior to sitting the test, the results will automatically be shared to your dashboard. And this allows you to place students appropriately and quickly onto English language courses. An example of an organization using EnglishScore for placement is Health Education England, who have used EnglishScore as a pre-screening test for Indian nurses who would then go on to complete an English language course. Another way of using EnglishScore is for ongoing evaluation. Again, really easy to use. You assess the student's level at the beginning. They would then go on to complete an English language course. You would assess the student again at the end, and you can begin to measure that progress. This really helps you to understand the efficacy of your English courses. And the third way is around certification. So organizations have the ability to purchase certificates on behalf of their candidates. So again, really simple to use. You email your current students, they sit the test, they get their results, they get a certificate, and they're able to evidence that they've got English skills for employability purposes. This can be added to their CV and shared as an achievement on platforms like LinkedIn. An example of an organization using EnglishScore certificates is LP3I, an Indonesian education institution, who have purchased certificates on behalf of their candidates who have sat an English language course at their institution. So this slide shows a number of customers who are currently using EnglishScore, both corporate organizations and also educational institutions. And you've also got some lovely quotes which they've said, and I'm just going to pull a few out. EnglishScore is really easy to use. It's amazingly helpful, a powerful tool that has really helped to improve student employability. So the test is free for the end user in the app, but the dashboard is a paid for service. We have two packages available, the basic package starting at $2.50 per test and the professional package starting at $5 per test. The professional package is by far our most popular and has enhanced features as shown in the table. For the professional package, you have the photo check technology, so you can begin to see the photograph of the test taker. You also have the scores broken down by skill area, and the tests are uploaded onto your dashboard within an hour, compared to 24 hours in the basic package. As I mentioned before, organizations have the option to purchase certificates on behalf of their candidates at $10 per certificate, which is a reduction in the price that the certificates are charged for the user in the app. We also have medium and large scale packages available if you wish to implement across your institution or buy test results in bulk. At the moment, we have a special offer on. If you want to sign up for an employer dashboard or an educational dashboard, go to our website, enter your details, and we will instantly give you $250 worth of free credit to begin testing today. It's really simple to do. All you have to do is go to our website, go to the business English test for education and enter your details, and we will set you up with an account today and you get your free $250 credit. There's also a QR code in the top hand corner should you wish to scan your mobile now and go directly to the website. These slides will be circulated afterwards and the links will be shared with you to make it as easy as possible for you to sign up for your dashboard today. This has been a very quick overview of EnglishScore. I hope you've enjoyed it. There will be time for questions at the end, but for now, I'm going to pass back to Colm, who's going to talk a bit more about EnglishScore in Indonesia and talk about some of the courses that the British Council are offering. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Will. It's amazing. I just want to reflect a little bit more on EnglishScore and how I can see EnglishScore being used in Indonesia. There's a couple of points I also want to pick out that I think are really important. One is that there is a free version of EnglishScore, okay? So anybody can download the app, and anybody, a student or a teacher, today you could do EnglishScore and find out your level of English for free. What's not free is the certificate and the enhanced version. So there's a fee to pay for some of the extra features, but there is a way of finding out your level of English and your CEFR level for free. I mean, this is amazing for me. So let me just think a little bit more about who's going to use this and how they're going to use this. So let's say you're a student, a school student, maybe an SMK or SMR, maybe you're 16 or 17, you could do this test, find out what your level of English is, because maybe you're thinking about going to university in Indonesia, and maybe that university has an English language test or a requirement. It might have a CEFR level as an entry requirement. So being able to know what your CEFR level is when you're 16 or 17 is going to be really helpful, so you know what you need to do in order to improve your English to prepare you to get into university. Obviously, you might not be going to university. You might just finish school and want to get a job. So having that certificate might really help you when you're making your applications, creating a CV. It's going to be something extra for you when you go looking for a job in Indonesia. So I think there's a lot of usage potential for this EnglishScore for school students. And secondly, I want to move on and just reflect a little bit more on the usage for teachers. So if you're a teacher, I think you should test your own level of English. But obviously, I think knowing your students' levels of English is really important, and it will help you give them feedback to help them develop their skills. So I think it could be a very useful tool for teachers to be able to monitor their students' level of English. And then let me move on a little bit and think about higher education. So universities could use this as a test, as an entry requirement for candidates for selecting students into their courses. If you are a student, maybe at undergraduate level, maybe you want to go and do your postgraduate studies overseas in Malaysia, in Australia, in the UK. Maybe you want to get a scholarship, an LPDP scholarship or a MORA scholarship or a UK Chevening scholarship. But to go overseas and study, most universities require an IELTS test. Now, this isn't an IELTS test, but it will give you an indication of your IELTS score. So it can be really useful in helping you to prepare. And it's not just students, it's also academics. There are many academics in Indonesia that would like to do maybe postgraduate studies, do a PhD overseas. So again, this can help academics themselves to measure their level of English, to know where they are, what they need to do in order to get to the minimum level of proficiency. So I think just one last thing I wanted to add is that this CEFR framework, we know that it is being used widely across the world, increasingly in East Asia and in ASEAN, more and more so by universities and by employers. So I think knowing what your CEFR level of English is really, really important and will continue to be important in the future. So I'm very excited. I hope you are too, and I'm sure you can think of other ways in which you could use EnglishScore for yourself or for your institution or for your students. It's a test of English. What I'm briefly going to move on to, and then there'll be time for questions at the end, is I just want to say, well, what else, once you know what your level of English is and you want to improve your English skills, obviously there's things that you can do by yourself, And I'm sure if you're in school or university, you will have great teachers who are helping you to improve your English. But these are a couple of things that the British Council offers. So I'm just going to tell you about those briefly. So here in Jakarta, we have a teaching center. It's in Lotte Avenue. If you know Lotte Avenue, it's closed at the moment because of the pandemic. So unfortunately, we don't have any face-to-face lessons in our teaching center, but we've moved our teaching center online. So we're delivering our courses online. So we're continuing to do that. We have courses with the Indonesian Air Force, with Ford Foundation, with National Geographic. So depending on your needs, we can develop specialized courses combining English language skills and professional skills, and we can deliver that online. And we hope that we'll be able to do that face-to-face back in our teaching center when the pandemic is under control and the vaccines have been distributed. The other option is a new British Council service called English Online. So English Online is a global British Council option. This is for groups of individuals, really. So and it's very flexible. So there are lessons almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can pick a time that suits you. And if you were an individual student who wanted to learn English from home, you could go to English Online, you could pick a course. Obviously, we would measure your level of English to put you in the right level for you. And then we can deliver courses to you, but you would be part of a group with other students in that experience. So that's English Online. Learn English Select is a self-study material that you can use, and we have been working with some education institutions in Indonesia for them to offer Learn English Select to their students. So Learn English Select is a series of interactive exercises and tests at different CEFR levels, which learners can do at their own pace. So it's a self-study, self-paced online learning material. We call that Learn English Select. And the mechanism for this is that you can subscribe, and then you'll have access to those materials for a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, and gradually you can work through those exercises, improve your level of English, and then you could retake EnglishScore and see where see what progress you've made. And then the last one is called EnglishScore Tutors. So this is a specific one-to-one teaching. So imagine right now you're online with me, but we're in a webinar with 100 or 200 people. But if you wanted a one-to-one lesson on Zoom with a British Council teacher, then this is the service for that, and it's called EnglishScore Tutors. Again, it's very flexible, 24 hours a day. You could decide the time that you want to have your lesson, and the British Council can organize for you to have a teacher. So I hope that was clear and interesting. I hope you're as excited about EnglishScore as I am, because I really think that it can really help institutions, learners, teachers across Indonesia to better understand the English language proficiency levels. I'd be very happy to take any questions. I'm sure Will too. So I'm going to hand back now to Kishore, our moderator, to moderate the next part of this webinar.
Thanks, Will. Thanks for that. Thanks, Colm, as well. Okay, so we have a number of questions that have come in, and we'll start with a question from Cecilia. This was mentioned on the chat, but I'll repeat it so that everyone gets to hear the answer. So the question was around, so EnglishScore shows the candidate's ability and receptive skills would the test measure productive skills of a candidate? Will, is that a question you could pick up, please?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Kishore. So at the moment, EnglishScore does cover the reading and listening, grammar and vocabulary, but we are introducing to speaking later in this year and looking at ways we can also implement a writing assessment as well. So it is on our plans to introduce assessment for the productive skills.
Thanks, Will. Okay. Bear with me, sorry. My screen is frozen. Okay, and another question was from Sue, who's on the line, and she asked whether there was any way to give test takers an ID that they would use when taking English, for example, a student number.
At the moment, what we do is we provide education institutions with a connect code, which really streamlines the process for institutions, so they're not having to manage large, volumes of different ID numbers. So what happens is every test taker gets the connect code, which is linked to the institution. They enter that connect code and the results automatically go into the dashboard. Institutions are able to download the dashboard data in the CSV if they wanted to attach it to students in their own systems, but we find it's really streamlines the process by having it all in one dashboard.
Great. Yep. Thanks, Will. I think Charlie also did. The email address can also act as a unique identifier as well within the dashboard.
Yeah.
Another possibility as well. Great. Thank you. Ria asks, and I guess this is for clarification really, so she's trying to summarize the process. Education institutions should register first, then get a kind of ID, then if they use EnglishScore for testing, the students would use that specific ID. Is that correct, Will?
Yeah, that's correct. So when organizations sign up, they get what we call a connect code, which is unique to that organization. And what institutions would do is share that code with students they wish to sit the test on their behalf. Students enter the code within the app before sitting the test, and the code automatically then puts the results into the dashboard. Students do have the option of sitting the test without entering a connect code if they want to do it for personal purposes or just to get a level. But if you want to do it with your students and to have their results in the dashboard, using the code, which is unique to your institution, is how it works.
Great. Thanks a lot, Will. Okay. An interesting question, Com. I'm going to direct this to you, if I may. This is a question from Nani. How can we help make a standard, let's say, widely used certification on English proficiency that's in line with international standards? How could we get this widely used within Indonesia?
That's a good question, and I think this is something that I'm keen to. I've been thinking about. I think at the moment there'll be more universities and schools that might be interested in using EnglishScore at an institutional level. And I know that the EnglishScore team have already, for example, been arranging for that for a few institutions in Indonesia. So we hope that it will grow. But I think what we would like is to look at ways in which EnglishScore could be used as broadly as possible, as a way of helping both teachers and students understand their level of English. So it's an interesting question. It's a good question. It's something that we need to reflect on, and we'll continue to talk to university leaders and to experts in the Ministry of Education on potential applications of EnglishScore.
Thanks, Colin. Great. Another question from Sue. Is it possible to mix packages, for example, a basic one for admissions and the professional one for an exit test, which would include certificate? Will, could you address that one?
Yes, it is possible to mix packages. So you might have, as Sue gives an example, want to use basic just for admissions purposes, but actually you want a more professional and the enhanced features and a certificate for exit. And institutions can sort of pick and choose which test results they get.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so
maybe can I make a comment while you're still selecting questions? There's another
go ahead,
point
please, go on.
I wanted to highlight and just really to make the point really clear. So CEFR bands are quite big. They're quite broad. There's only 6 of them, right? So you got A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So a lot of people might be at B1 because it's a big band. It's an intermediate level of English. But what the EnglishScore test does very well is it goes much deeper than that. It won't just say you are B1. It will tell you where in that band you are. So it has what we call granularity. So it will tell you if you're just at the beginning of B1 or at the middle of B1 or at the end of B1. Yeah. And I think that that's again another really impressive feature of this test. It's not just a general, you are sort of B1 in B1 in listening. You know, it really narrows a little bit in a bit more detail into that. And I think that differentiation is going to be very useful for teachers and maybe institutions, you know, when they're selecting candidates. Because if everybody's B1, then it doesn't tell you maybe too much. But it will be much more detailed than that. It will tell you, okay, these 5 candidates are at the top end of B1 or at the bottom end of B2, and these 5 candidates are, you know, just into the B1 category. So it has that level of detail.
Yeah, the CFR levels are very, very broad, aren't they? Yeah, so
I think that's
say your top end, your bottom end can be really valuable. No, sure.
I think that's really quite important.
Thanks, Com. Okay. Another question. This is from Ibu Cecilia. If the platform is used by thousands of students at the same time, would there be any extra cost for that? Will?
No, a great question. No, because it's on the test is actually done on mobile application, and the user downloads it to their personal phone. Thousands of students can be sitting the test at the same time, and it works extremely well. The results will still get uploaded to your dashboard. Again, with the pricing, the app for the end user is free. It's institutions who want to access the dashboard who pay per test result. And there is a sliding scale. So the more you buy, the cheaper per test it becomes. So we do have different packages available.
Okay, great. Thank you. And another question. This is about, there was some reference to flexible payment. But there was some confusion about that. So maybe you could just clarify that, Will?
Yes.
What did you mean by flexible payment?
Yeah, so at the moment, as we keep mentioning, the actual app is free to use for the end user. So your students can download it and use it for free. The organizational dashboard is the paid for service, and we have different packages available. So you can have some flexible options here. So we have the basic package, which starts at $2.50 per test, and then the professional package at $5 per test. And the features are slightly different in terms of the different packages as well. It becomes flexible if you start to buy in bulk, or if you want to test like an entire institution. We do have packages available there, and the price becomes more flexible. At the moment, as you can see, the price is in US dollars, but we do have the option to pay in local currency as well, and do bank transfers and things like that. So we have quite a number of payment options for the dashboard.
Great, thank you. Yep. The next one, this is a question from a reader. How do you ensure that the test taker or the student doing the test is on their own and not getting help from someone else?
Yeah, another good question. So when you download the app, there's a photograph taken. You're being recorded throughout the test on your camera, on your phone, and you can see your picture in the corner. And at random intervals throughout the test, the camera is taking photographs. So when you upload the results onto the dashboard, the institution can see all of the photos. So there's around 7 to 10 photos that they can see, and they can begin to check that no one's helping the test taker, that, you know, they're not accessing other information, and, you know, they're the person sitting the test who says they are sitting the test. So the fact that we are taking photographs means that they are consenting to that before the test starts, and they're consenting to the photographs being shared with the institution when they use the code.
Great, many thanks, Will. Okay, Arif, you were asking about a YouTube broadcast containing information about this English score test. What we'll be doing is the recording of this session, we will be uploading onto YouTube. So you'll be able to revisit this and obviously, you know, focus on any specific sections if you need it on YouTube there and then. Another.
Can I say, I think, Kishore, that this is Bapak Arif Rockman. Greetings from Indonesia. We hope that you're safe and well at the embassy in the Indonesian embassy in the UK right now, and very, very proud and happy for you to join us. Thank you very much for your question.
Thanks, Colm. So Sue has come back with another question as well. So we've talked about speaking being introduced later in the year. Are there any plans for writing as well? Might be challenging on a mobile phone, I appreciate, but Will, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, writing is definitely something we're looking at, and, you know, because the assessment is taken by mobile phone, we're looking at innovative ways that we can assess writing, which isn't, you know, the traditional writing an essay or other sort of what assessments use. So it's definitely on our roadmap, our product roadmap. So watch this space.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And a question from Fajar. Is it possible for one device to be used by several test takers, Will?
Yes, it is possible. So basically what you do when you download the app, you would log in, you would create an account for you personally using your name and email address. And then that account is your own account, and you can log out on your phone or log back in. So your results are always within your account in the app. So if you do have one mobile phone for a cohort of students, they can log in with their own account. So you can use a device for multiple students.
Thanks, Will. Forgive me, I think I have some tech issues at my end. Try and squeeze in one or two more final questions. Can candidates sit the test more than once? And if they do so, which result should be accepted?
Yeah, another great question. So candidates are able to sit the test more than once. We do have a time limit between how frequently they can sit the test. So there's a 24-hour gap between test takers. We do say to institutions, it's up to you which results you pick. For example, the Health Education England would only accept the first test result of the nurses applying for their programme, but some institutions will accept the second one or the first one. It's entirely up to you, and we would suggest that you make that explicitly clear when you're telling your students around the test and sharing the code and giving them the information. So it is up to you as an institution. I also think it's worth pointing out, sorry, Kishore, worth pointing out, if you want to have a go on the app, feel free to download it, sit the test, you'll see how it works. You know, you can download it from the App Store, Google Play, you know, go and give it a go and see how great it is.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, I just had a follow-up to the last question, actually. So if a candidate does sit the test more than once, will they see the same question second time around?
No, so we have quite a large item bank of questions which rotates. So basically, a candidate is highly unlikely to see the same questions again, which means they can't anticipate the questions coming up, and they can't also, you know, sort of sit a test, memorize the questions, sit the test again and see the same questions. And we're adding more questions every week. So our item writers are increasing the amount of questions in there. So the likelihood of seeing a question again is really, really low.
Okay. Will, so this is a question from Anis. If someone presents an English score certificate, how could we verify the validity of that certificate submitted?
Yeah, another great question. So each certificate has a unique identification number which is linked to that candidate. The certificate also has a photograph of the candidate on it, and the institution is able to check on our online verification portal the validity of the results. So what an institution would do is get the unique code, enter it in our online platform, and we'll be able to verify the result and the picture of the candidate.
Okay, great. Again, I think this is Sue again. If the test taker, sorry, let me make sure I understand the question. If someone takes a test more than once, will each test be paid for by the institution? I think that's the question, but correct me if I'm wrong.
The test will only be paid for the institution if the candidate uses the Connect code. So you will be able to see on your dashboard how many times a student has used the code, because they will be listed within your dashboard. So this is where it goes to being explicitly clear when you're sharing the information that the candidates can only sit the test once, and you'll only accept their first test result. Okay, great. Thanks very much, Will. It's great to see so many questions coming in. Thank you very much. We're coming to the end of the session. We're running out of time, I'm afraid. So just in terms of wrapping up, just to remind you really, so, remember, this is a test that's globally adopted now and is increasingly used as a valid certificate for English for employability. Of course, I think the key element to this is it's a test that can, because it's on a mobile phone, it can literally be taken anywhere, anytime. It is very, very easily, and obviously offers the benefit of instant results. As Will was saying earlier, for a limited time, organizations such as yourselves can access that dashboard and get access to $250 of free test credits. So please do take advantage of that. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. Obviously, special thanks to Will and Colm for talking us through today's content. I'd like to thank my colleagues Flo and Maria for their sterling work in the background. And obviously, if you want more information about it, please do contact us. I think contact details on the next slide. There you go. So my colleagues will be happy to provide more information about any of the things that we talked about today, be it the EnglishScore app or be it the teaching or learning offers. On that note, we're going to bring today's session to an end. Obviously, please do provide us your feedback. And as I said earlier, once you complete the survey, you'll be able to access the content from today's session. Thank you very much. Please do take care, everyone. Stay safe. As I say, check out the info and the tools that we've discussed today, and get in touch with your thoughts or your needs. Thank you very much, and goodbye.